Every year, America buys roughly $3 trillion worth of manufactured goods from overseas. And right now, in fields that sat empty for years, cranes are going up specifically to make that number disappear. The country that got told for decades it doesn't build things anymore is in the middle of the largest factory construction boom in generations, and almost nobody's noticed it happening. We're going to get into exactly how big this construction wave actually is, why the factories driving it don't look anything like the factories from your grandfather's era, the honest gap between what's been announced and what's actually been built, and why traditional manufacturing is somehow shrinking at the exact same time. That's what we're getting into. If this is the kind of story you're into, drop a like before we keep going. It genuinely helps push this out to more people. Let's start with the number that makes this boom make sense in the first place, because it explains why this is happening now specifically. According to McKinsey research, the US currently imports around $3 trillion in manufactured goods every single year. Everything from consumer electronics to industrial chemicals to the components that go into other finished products. And the firm estimates it would take roughly $2 trillion in new investment, close to 6% of the entire US economy and roughly 2 years' worth of the current annual defense budget, just to build the domestic industrial capacity needed to replace imports of the strategically important goods on that list. The study specifically flagged a serious shortage in American capacity for advanced electronics, especially AI servers, and key industrial chemicals, categories where the US has become almost entirely dependent on production happening somewhere else. That's the gap this construction wave is aimed at closing. Here's what's actually going into the ground right now. Private, non-residential construction spending, the category covering factories, warehouses, and industrial cleanrooms, hit an annualized $737.7 billion as of mid-2025, out of roughly $2.1 trillion in total US construction spending across every category, residential included. Zoom in specifically on manufacturing construction, and the trajectory is even sharper. It sat around $65 to $80 billion a year back in 2019, and by mid-2024 had roughly tripled to an annualized $238 billion. In June 2024 alone, factory construction spending hit a single-month record of $19.7 billion, up 18.6% from the year before, more than 3 times what a comparable month looked like back in 2019. That's not a press release number, and it's not a stock chart either. That's actual concrete and steel already spent, foundations already poured, cranes already up in fields that sat empty for years. Now, before this turns into American factories are booming again, exactly like the old days, because that's the comfortable version of the story, let's be precise about what's actually being built. The two categories capturing the biggest share of this new investment are semiconductor plants, around $113 billion, and data centers, around $40 billion. Those aren't traditional factories in any sense your grandfather would recognize walking through the front gate. A modern data center might employ around 50 people to run a facility the size of several football fields. An auto plant of similar physical footprint historically employed thousands. Entire towns built their economies around the shift schedule. Meanwhile, traditional manufacturing sectors, cars, steel, the industries most people actually picture when they hear the phrase American manufacturing, have reported 6 straight months of contraction, with executives citing tariff pressure and general uncertainty as the reasons. America is genuinely building factories again, in real measurable numbers. They're just increasingly factories that make chips and house servers, not factories that make cars, and that distinction matters enormously for who actually gets hired. So where's the money actually coming from? Because this isn't happening by accident. 3 major pieces of federal policy are driving most of it. The CHIPS and Science Act includes $53 billion in direct spending, plus an open-ended 25% tax credit for semiconductor equipment that industry insiders say has already funneled tens of billions more into the sector. The Inflation Reduction Act's clean energy and manufacturing tax credits could cumulatively reach $2.5 to $3 trillion over their lifespan, according to independent energy analysts. And a wave of new tariffs, combined with lingering memories of pandemic-era supply chain chaos, has made offshore production noticeably less attractive than it was 5 years ago. pushing companies to reconsider building domestically, even without a subsidy check attached. Now the honest counterpoint, because announced and built have turned out to be very different words in this story. TSMC's first Arizona semiconductor facility, originally announced before chips even became law, has already slipped from a 2024 to a 2025 production start, with its second planned plant pushed from 2026 all the way to 2028. Samsung's Taylor, Texas facility, originally promised for early 2024, has been delayed repeatedly and still isn't running as of this year. Intel pushed its Ohio factory's launch from 2025 to 2027, possibly 2028, a slip of years rather than months. Skywater Technology's $1.8 billion Indiana investment, celebrated in glowing coverage back in 2023, was quietly cancelled entirely after the company lost out on expected CHIPS Act funding it had been counting on. There is no guarantee every announced project currently sitting on a press release list ever actually breaks ground at all. But here's what that list of delays doesn't erase: the actual, already spent construction numbers that tripled manufacturing construction spend, that record-setting June, are real money already poured into real foundations, independent of whether any specific headline-grabbing chip plant hits its original target date. So does this matter if you don't work in construction or semiconductors? Yes, and here's why. This is quietly deciding which parts of the country get major new industrial investment for the next generation. And it's reshaping what a manufacturing job even means in America, shifting away from assembly line labor and toward the smaller, more specialized workforce a chip fab or a data center actually needs to operate. There's a strange irony sitting underneath all of it, worth pointing out directly. The factory renaissance headlines write themselves as a story about American manufacturing coming home, but a growing share of what's actually being built doesn't make a single physical product you could hold in your hand. It makes the chips and computing power everything else increasingly depends on. $3 trillion in annual imports, this boom is trying to shrink. Manufacturing construction tripling from roughly $80 billion to $238 billion in 5 years. A record $19.7 billion in a single month. Semiconductor plants and data centers eating the largest share, while traditional manufacturing contracts for 6 straight months. That's the whole shape of this story in one breath, and it's still being decided, foundation by foundation, in fields that were empty a few years ago. If you found this one interesting, subscribe so you're here for the next one. And I want to know, do you think this counts as a real manufacturing comeback? Or is America just building a different kind of factory while the old kind keeps disappearing? Let me know in the comments.